What's up, everyone? Just woke up a few minutes ago, but this is gonna be my review for House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 2. I want to say this episode was amazing. Probably the best episode since... This is the best episode, since the original series. To me, one of the best episodes, definitely. I'm trying to think back to Season 1. But I really can't. Maybe the episode where Aemon gets his eye cut, but that was just like kids fighting. I mean, the tension-wise, this is just an amazing episode. 10 out of 10. Straight off the back, I'll say that. Everything to me, everything in this episode was perfect. The emotion was at a high from the very beginning of the episode, and it never dwindled. There was never a lull in the tension. It was just an amazing episode. I felt like every actor gave it just a flawless performance, and every character acted like just the way they were meant to act. It was never like, oh, that seems out of character, or why would anyone do that? And it was understandable why anyone would act in the ways every character acted. Even Christian Cole, who I can't stand, and a lot of people can't stand even the way he acted. It was like, well, yeah, that's how you would act, you know. This was just an amazing episode. I mean, it starts off, we've got, you see a woman carrying a bloody sheet. She's running, the small folk of the castle are being rounded up. You see people running, people dropping. Some guy, I don't know, what was he carrying, a pot full of dust? but he drops the pot and dust flies everywhere. You see the King's Guard are rounding everyone up in the central courtyard, and then we have Aegon. He's just going crazy. He's smashing up the model of old Valyria that his grandfather had created, like spent his whole life creating or whatever. He's just smashing it with a sword. He's like, they attacked me. Oh man, it was just, it was a great episode. I like busted my lip yesterday. I was taking something off the shelf and a box fell down and hit me in the mouth. I didn't see that there was a small, tiny box on top of this big box I was taking down. But that has nothing to do with anything. I just noticed when I was looking at the camera. Yeah, then we cut to he's at his council meeting, and he's just angry. Everybody's on edge. They don't want to anger him anymore, you know. And I don't remember if the conversation Otto and Alicent had, if that was before or after the council meeting. They had multiple conversations in the episode, but I don't remember if that first one was before or after the council meeting, when she's talking about what they should do, and she's like, they came for us. And then, so Otto is like, and some people say, you know, we don't know for sure it's Rhaenyra. Like, when Aemon is like, Aegon is like, of course it was Rhaenyra, blah, blah, blah. And somebody's like, you know, it could have been somebody closer to us trying to hurt you. And he's like, yeah, you know, Aegon's like, yeah, it could have been anyone in this council. And he's like, Otto was like, listen, no matter who it was, we're going to say it was Rhaenyra. And we're going to have this baby. We're going to have the funeral. Everyone can see the baby. They sew his head back on, but everyone's going to know he got his head cut off. He's a toddler, but, you know, same thing. But, you know, everyone's going to see he got his head cut off. And, you know, we're going to parade him through the street, and Alicent and Helena are going to be with behind him, riding a cart behind the body, so everyone can see that we're grieving. And Aegon is like, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want, like, but he's like, we need the people to see, how how we feel, and when they grieve, they'll grieve with us, and they'll all hate Rhaenyra. The high houses will turn their back on her. They won't be able to support her after this. And Aegon, he agrees, but you could tell, like, he's not gonna be agreeing for much longer. So then we have where he agrees. Then it goes over to Rhaenyra, and they're all talking about what happened, and everyone's saying it was you. And she's like, it wasn't me. Why would I do that? Having just lost a child, why would I take and kill, my nephew? Why would I kill, like, Helena? And Helena was innocent, so, like, why would I go against her, blah, blah. Everyone in the council. And then one guy actually says, like, you sure? Like, she's like, are you accusing me? He's like, I'm just saying maybe in haste and you were grieving. And she's like, Rhaenys is like, oh, you should chill out, because Rhaenyra looking at him angry, and she notices that Daemon hasn't said anything the whole time, and he doesn't look sad or anything. He's like kind of got a smirk, just looking to the right, like not even making eye contact with her. He's like not even like. And then it just cuts to her talking to him. She's like, "Did you do it?" And then he admits that he sent someone to kill Aemond in his sleep. And she's like, "And what were your orders? If they couldn't find Aemond, what were they to do?" And he was like, "No, it doesn't matter, blah blah." It's like, this was a mistake. And they have like I said, an intense argument, because Daemon's dangerous. It gets to the point where you don't know if he's gonna attack her, but he just told her, like, I can't. And then she's like accused. She's like, oh, you just want to take what you think you lost. You just want my throne. And he's like, did I not put the crown on your head? They're arguing back and forth. Great argument. Daemon gets angry. He leaves and he goes off on Caraxes. Then she calls Daemon's daughter. I forget her name. There's so many characters, so many names. Daemon's daughter. I want to say her name is something with a D, but I'm not really sure. Anyway, she tells her, like, oh, go to King's Landing, fly high, and watch them and see. Like, Daemon wanted to go to King's Landing. She's like, no. So I think Daemon went to Harrenhal. They don't show where him the rest of the episode. But she flies off. She sends Daemon's daughter. She says, you have to go watch. She's like, what about my father? She's like, he left to do whatever he wants to do, we see everyone's just talking about what happened. Then we get to a scene where Alicent is changing, and because in the chamber with the council, Kristen Cole was there, and Aegon's like, and where were you when my family was getting murdered? He was like, I was at bed, having ordered the guards to watch, and he's like, at bed? He didn't want to say, oh, I was having sex with your mom, I was smashing your mom, dude. Like that. He didn't want to say that, so he's just like, I was at bed. And of course, Alicent can't let anyone know. But then later, when she's in her room, she goes and she Kristen Cole's at the door. She's like, have you told anyone? He's like, what do you take me for? I'm like, even Kristen Cole is being smart right now. She's like someone who needs absolution, who seeks absolution. He's like, for what I've done, there is none. So it's like, oh, well, Kristen Cole made a smart decision, like usually before. He would have, he may have made the wrong decision, but right now he's like, nah, I'm not getting killed out here. So even he is like being smart, but then there's a point where he comes to Sir Eric, one of the twins, Eric and Eric, and he's asking him, where were you while like he's basically accused. At first, he tells him to clean off his cloak. He's like, "You sullied our robes, you know, our image," and it's because he knows what he's done. They're supposed to be abstinent, and he's not. He's having sex with Alicent, so he's trying to put the blame on someone else, you know. And he's like, "Where were you?" And I forgot what he was saying. I don't know if he said he was resting or he was somewhere else, you know, protecting. No, he was with Aegon. He's like, "I was with the king." And then Christian Cole tries to make it seem like, "Oh, you left your watch." Like, he was like, "The king requested me to be." He wanted to be with his friends, but it's like, come on, he's with the king. You're gonna accuse him of having something to do with it. You're gonna accuse him of killing the kid when he was with the king. Like, don't be dumb, Christian. But then he's like, "Oh well, your brother betrayed us. How do I know you didn't betray us?" He was like, "This is the first time I left my brother since we were kids. So what do you mean, you know?" And you know, Christian Cole tells him like, "Oh, prove your." Then he's like, "And where were you at?" You know, Eric is like, you know, because it's like everyone's like, "Yeah, where were you, Chris? You talk about you were sleeping, blah blah blah," and then Christian kind of tones it down slightly, but he's like, "Where were you at?" Hey, they're going back and forth for this argument. I thought they were gonna fight right there, you know, draw swords, but Christian Cole tells him to go kill his brother. He's like, "You would send me to my death? You want me to go to Dragonstone alone?" He's like, the curse. He's like, "You got to pretend to be your brother to prove, or should I question your loyalty to the king?" So Eric, he agrees. He's like, "All right, I'll go do it." Then we see that then there's the two shipwrights, the guys who apparently they're Corlys's bastards. Like I said, I didn't read the books, but people have said that those are Corlys's bastards, and they're talking. It's just a scene between those two brothers. I get this would be like a lull in the episode, but even then, it wasn't. It's not like I was like, "Oh, why are you showing this?" It was still good, you know what I'm saying? To me, this episode had no issues. It was 10, you know. They're talking, and he's telling his brother, he's like, "You should sail with Corlys." He's like, "Yo, there's a war coming, you know." And you know, then we see one of them. I guess he's the shipwright. He builds ships, but he was digging for crabs and oysters or shells and stuff. And while we see the dragon flying away. I guess that was Daemon's daughter going to King's Landing. So I guess they're foreshadowing that maybe he could be a dragon rider or something. I mean, Corlys has Valyrian blood, but he's not a dragon rider. But Rhaenys is, but he's not. This guy's not Rhaenys' son. He's a bastard of Corlys, but maybe because their family was never dragon riders, but maybe just because he has Valyrian blood, he may be a dragon rider. Like I said, I remember watching a video a long time ago, maybe like a year ago or after the first season, they were talking about all the stuff that happens in the books and all the dragon riders, but I don't remember all of them, you know, any of them, honestly. So, but maybe he'll be one. Maybe one of the two brothers will end up being a dragon rider. So then we have the scene where Aegon hangs all the rat catchers that were employed by the king because they find one of, I think it was Blood. I'm guessing Cheese is the rat catcher. Blood was the guy from the King's Guard. I wasn't really looking at the subtitles when they were saying who was talking, and they don't call them by their names, but people were saying that their names are in the subtitles. I wasn't reading the subtitles. I mean the captions. Yeah, subtitles, captions, whatever. Yeah, so when one of them is captured by Sir Loras, you know, the guy with the foot fetish and stuff, he says we captured one. When he goes to torture him, the guy Blood just tells everything. It's like, This Damon told me to do it. Me and another guy, it was a rat catcher, I don't know his name. He's like, are you gonna kill me? Because he sees the torture tools and he just admits everything in seconds. And he's like, are you gonna kill me? It's like, no, but I can't say that for the king. And then Aegon comes in, kills him. Later, Aegon has every rat catcher that is employed by him that works in the castle. He has them all hanged. And people are in the streets crying and mourning. And he's just in his room with Christian Cole, and Otto Hightower walks in. And he is furious. He's berating Aegon. And I don't remember if it was Christian or Aegon that says, oh, watch how you talk to your king. And he's like, my king is my grandson and an idiot. I mean, he's berated. He's calling him all types. He's calling him petulant, insolent, arrogant, stupid, foolish. Like, he's basically like, you're a dumbass. Like, he's he is berating him. Now, you know, if that was Joffrey, like, okay, Joffrey was afraid of Tywin. So maybe, but like, yo, I thought Otto was in danger. Like, the way he was talking to him, he was just like, you're a fool, an idiot, blah. And he's like, oh, if only your grandfather. He's like, your grandfather. He said something about his grandfather. Don't you remember how he was? His like, kindness, right? And Aegon's like, man, forget all that. I want revenge. My grandfather. And then he's like, my grandfather's dead. And he's like, we're all the worse for it. And he was like, well, he made me king. And Otto's like, is that what you think? I was surprised that he didn't say, I'm the one who made you king. But he just said, is that what you think? And he just laughed and walks out. Aegon tells him to take off his badge like you're not the hand of the king. Otto's like, you wouldn't dare. And he's like, I dare. Otto throws off he tells him to give it to Christian, Sir Cole. And he's like, what? He throws it. He says, he just throws it. And then he's like, you're dismissed when Otto starts walking out. Otto walks out. He talks to Alicent. He says he's going to go to Hightower. She is like, no, to Old Town. I think she sends him to Hightower. She says, you should go to Hightower instead. Then we get to the end. We have a scene, towards the end, we have a scene where Rhaenyra is talking to the worm. At first, she doesn't recognize her. She's like, oh, did you help Daemon? She was like, you helped them usurp me. And she's like, it was inevitably. So I just got paid for something to help something that was going to happen anyway. They were not going to let you become queen. And, you know, then when they were talking about Daemon, she was like, he leaves. And she was like, oh, yeah, he does that, right? That's when Rhaenyra recognizes her and realizes that she was the woman that Daemon was saying he was going to marry and stuff. So that kind of like, and she knows there's a scar. She's like, how did you get that scar? That kind of like softens her. So she agrees to let her free like Daemon. She said if Daemon said it, then fine, you could go free. And when she's leaving, she sees Eric arriving, but you know, she was just inside the castle with Eric, and she doesn't just walk, she says a moment, and she turns around and starts walking back to the castle. Now we don't see her talk to anyone. Eric is sneaking to the castle. He has his helmet on. He sees his brother. He hides. He sees his brother's not wearing his helmet, so he takes his helmet off, and his brother almost knows. He's like, what is that? When he's hiding behind a pillar, his brother's like, what? And so he's sneaking around. They pass each other several times. And then he sends the guy away that's watching Rhaenyra's chambers. He locks the one door on the one side, and he goes to the other door on the other side. He says, I'll stand to watch tonight. He sees the guy, sends the guy away. Now, what I'm guessing happens is either the worm told someone, like, I saw a twin, a guy, I saw your twin. Either that, or Sir Eric saw the guy who Eric sent away and said, like, why are you away? He said, you said you were guarding the door. So Eric walks into the room. He draws his sword. Rhaenyra's like confused. And then Eric comes in. He, boom, brother, and, screams. They get into an epic fight, Eric, I keep wanting to call him the good one, you know, the one that's on the side of the blacks. I don't think anybody's on the side of the grins, you know, any of the fan base, you know, so I keep wanting to say, you know, like the good one, you know, but Eric is Eric and Eric, you know, Eric, he gets his leg cut. It seems like he might be losing a little bit, but at the end, he's like choking his brother, and his brother digs into his leg wound. He's like, you know, they're fighting. And Rhaenyra's maid runs out to get the guy. The guy runs in, one of her other guards, and he's like, well, which is which? You know, everyone, they're both fighting. And she should have changed his uniform. He should have been changed his uniform. They should have predicted that. I mean, that was a dumb plan because one guy, but, you know, he almost succeeded. They fighting. He's like, we were been together since birth. He's like, you separated us, blah, blah. You know, when he kills his brother, and then he falls on his sword. You know, he commits suicide. I don't know if it's because he commits suicide. He said, I'm sorry. I don't know if it's because he killed his brother or because of the fact that he was a twin almost got Rhaenyra killed. So he feels guilty because of that. But either way, you know, 10 out of 10 episode. Fantastic, man. It felt like the beginning of Game of Thrones, where every episode was just full of tension, intrigue, political intrigue, you know, people scheming behind each other's backs, you know. But this episode, everybody was face to face. It's like telling everybody how it is. There was nobody was sugarcoating anything, you know. Between Christian and Eric, when he's like, where were you? And where were you? You know, Otto flipping out on Aegon. I mean, he's like, we had the people's favor, now they beg for us. We also see that there isn't a famine going on, but people know the war is coming, so they're hiding their food. The people that sell food, they don't want to sell it for much, you know. I mean, they're selling it, the opposite of that. They're selling it for 3 times more than it's worth. So, you know, thanks in Kangland, then again, Harry. I don't know. I wouldn't have wanted to send my niece to watch King. Like, Rhaenyra tells her fly high and be safe, but, like, if Vhagar comes, that's it. We see Aemond. Aemond knows that Daemon sent those guys to kill him. And he's talking to that with a prostitute. I don't know if anybody else knows. It seemed like I heard one other person say that. So I don't know if it's just common knowledge, if he even got to say it. Did Blood get a chance to say it? I'm wondering. I'm definitely watching the episode again, so I'll see. But I don't know if they definitely told the people that she wanted the kid dead, you know. But at least some of them know they were sent to kill Aemond. So the next episode is probably going to be when Daemon gets to wherever he's going. I think he's gonna bring hell Dragonfire with him, you know. Not a dragon. There might be one called Dragonfire, but no. I mean, he's gonna bring Caraxes to breathe Dragonfire, you know. And hopefully his daughter doesn't get shot down by scorpions. They got scorpions out there, so she better be flying above the clouds. So I don't know if she's gonna see anything, because if she's below the clouds and they bring out Vhagar, maybe her dragon is faster, maybe she could escape, who knows. But yeah, this is gonna be good. This season is gonna be good, you know. And now it's definitely picked up. Episode 2, you know, that's how you do it. You pick up episode 2. Episode 1, you know, this show has just been fire from the beginning. And so can't wait for next week. Can't wait to see how everything plays out for the rest of this season. It's gonna be great. Top of the line Game of Thrones, even though it's House of Dragon, you know, it's the same. It's in the Game of Thrones series. But, you know, there's other series that's gonna be coming out, you know. Aegon's Conquest and stuff like that. I got high hopes for those, you know. But this was just a wonderful episode, man. You know, so I'll see you guys later with more reviews. Hope you liked this one, and I hope you liked the episode if you saw it.